In terms of the fourth quarter, they had all but one of their buckets was inside the paint. Was that them just being able to get into the paint and get whatever they want because of that point of attack defense like you were talking about?
Yeah, they had that and 9 free throws.
There was no stopping the Indiana Fever. They simply destroyed the Dallas Wings and Paige Boers. They won their first Commissioner's Cup after dominating the Minnesota Lynx. Aja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces were completely destroyed by them. 3 victories in a row. The pace was increasing. Even without Caitlin Clark, everyone thought they would have no trouble defeating the Los Angeles Sparks. The Sparks are among the WNBA's worst teams, hands down. However, what transpired next would make you furious. Stephanie White was only able to deliver 5 words that encapsulated the league's problems due to the referees' awful calls. Please share your thoughts about the WNBA referees in the comments section below. Come on.
We should have won this game. There was inconsistencies in the officiating. Wait until you see the second half. And I have everything.
Although the Fever entered this game without their best player, no one anticipated what transpired. Due to a left groin injury, Caitlin Clark was unable to play. She was on the bench for the 5th consecutive game. Clark's ability to create plays is essential to the team's overall offensive flow. The Fever were a totally different team without her scoring threat and court vision.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. Anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
That's not all, though. In the FIA America, Dyrus Dantas was competing on behalf of her nation. The Fever had to rearrange their rotations because of her absence. Another important player who provides size and experience off the bench was lost by the team. The stunning announcement that Dana Bonner had left the squad completely followed. In one crushing blow, 3 important pieces were lost. This is when things start to get interesting. The Fever were still strong favorites in spite of their injuries. They had a 72.9% chance of winning, according to ESPN's Matchup Predictor. They were favored by 6.5 points, according to MGM. Everyone thought they would win this game with ease thanks to the remaining talent. Everything appeared to make sense. The Sparks are among the WNBA's worst teams, hands down. The entire season has been difficult for them. The Fever had just finished their amazing run of 3 straight victories. Basketball player Aaliyah Boston was playing at an incredible level. As a leader, Kelsey Mitchell was taking charge. During their dominant performances, the team's chemistry appeared to be strong.
Howard looking backdoor for Mitchell. Not there. Shot clock down to 7. McDonald feed inside, and it's Howard for 2. It's good recognition.
However, there was something simmering beneath the surface. Without Clark, the Fever's play had slowed significantly. The ball wasn't being moved by them with the same vigor. Boston was not receiving enough touches to dominate the paint as she is capable of doing. When Clark was in charge, the attacking scheme that had been so effective began to fail. There were still several players of all-star caliber on the Fever. Most nights, the Sparks had to battle just to remain competitive. How could this game be lost by Indiana?
I don't get it. Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, wait until you see what they did for Kelsey Plum tonight. They get all the calls. Touch fouls, anything. And guess what happens? Aaliyah Boston, the best center in the game, and guess what happens to her? She gets called for every touch foul and ends up in foul trouble this entire season and is still putting up MVP type numbers. What happens with Caitlin Clark? Have you ever seen her get a touch foul? A phantom call? No. The physicality, that's the WNBA when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But anybody else, the physicality disappears. And it's foul after foul.
The standards were extremely high. Everyone believed that unadulterated talent would fill in the gaps. The Fever had demonstrated their ability to win important matches. They still had players competing at the championship level. With Indiana's remaining firepower, a team was expected to find the Sparks easy prey. The circumstances for calamity were set up by this perfect storm of missing components. Clark's leadership was the foundation of the team bonding that appeared to be so strong throughout their winning streak. Cracks began to appear when she wasn't in charge of planning the offense. All of a sudden, the role players who flourished in their designated roles had to do more. With all of these handicaps dragging them down, the pressure increased as the game started. What, specifically from your perspective as a coach, can be done to help a squad become more consistent?
What does it take to get a team to be more consistent, especially from you on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. There's always got to be a high attention to knowing personnel. Oftentimes you don't get a lot of practice time, and so going over a lot of their sets, which you do, but at the end of the day, making sure we know our personnel, who we're going to run off the three-point line, what we're willing to give up. We've got to make sure that there's a high attention to detail there.
3 players resisted letting the Fever go without a fight, despite the team's struggles. All night long, Aaliyah Boston ruled the pain. She had what should have been a winning performance, finishing with 23 points and 12 rebounds. Boston made 5 of 7 free throws and 9 of 17 field goals. She demonstrated to everyone why she is such a unique player by finally getting the ball when it counted most.
Here's Mitchell off the screen, but can't connect on the three. Boston offensive rebound, rolls it in and a foul. The two bigs bring the ball up the floor, and Hamby wasn't ready for that.
How about that change of pace and burst like a guard, gets downhill to the rim.
In Clark's absence, Kelsey Mitchell significantly stepped up. When the squad sorely needed to score, she made 3 three-pointers and dropped 19 points. Mitchell also achieved a significant milestone by participating in her 251st game with the Fever. In the history of the series, only Tama Catchings has played more games. Throughout the entire game, Mitchell demonstrated her leadership by keeping the Fever competitive against a squad they ought to have comfortably defeated.
Lob inside. Boston too far underneath. Shot clock down to 5. Kick out Mitchell. Oh, yes!
That's not all, though. With her seasoned presence, Natasha Howard completely illuminated the scoreboard.